Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing, Amanda. I'm glad there's a world out there doing stuff because all I'm doing is recording videos and making videos and posting videos and reposting videos. I mean, damn, man, we had all 6 bonus videos last week for
that was
Patreon.
A crazy weekend of bonus videos for everyone.
Yep.
Well, beginning of the week of bonus videos.
Yep. So, with that in mind, hey, everybody, welcome to the most exciting podcast.
Yay! I'm just here for the food.
What food?
You didn't supply food?
No.
Oh.
It's never been a...
I gotta go.
We've never had...
Oh, you talk about the Instant Pot all the time. You don't make me food? What the heck?
You want a stew? I can go get you a stew, all right? I can go get the ingredients.
I'm just grabbing some meat and bam, we got a stew.
I got some mushrooms. I think I got a cooked chicken breast in the fridge. I'll make you a nice chicken with the mushrooms on top. I don't know. This isn't a cooking show.
Not yet.
We asked if people wanted to see cooking videos, and then, like one person had a mildly negative comment, and that just means that it's like, well, obviously not. I mean, 40 people were like, yes, please, enthusiastic, yes.
One person was like, I think that's a dumb idea, and then cut to Jeff in the shower, like, cradling an Instant Pot.
It's the Arrested Development, the sad Charlie Brown theme, like, da-da-da. Yeah. In any case, all that said, welcome back, everybody, to the Honest to God Rage Light podcast right here on Honest to God Rage Light. They call me Honest Jeff.
I'm the liar, Amanda.
Okay. One of us always tells the truth. One of us always lies. You'll have to figure out who is whom.
I'll give you a hint. One's the name Honest Jeff.
Well, hey, I could be lying. I could be lying about how honest I am. Who knows?
I don't think you are.
I don't feel like that trick gets enough play in fiction anymore. I feel like we need to bring that back as a thing that happens every so often in a movie or a TV show. Speaking of movies, have you watched Thor yet?
No.
Son of a...
We got... Look, things have happened.
Yeah.
We watched Dave Made a Maze.
Yep. John talked about that on our Demon Souls video.
It's a good movie.
Sure.
I enjoyed it.
I watched Thor Ragnarok again last week.
Only for like the 8th time?
Yeah, I fucking love that movie.
Haven't seen it.
Boo.
Have we talked about Veronica? That's a good one.
What's Veronica?
Veronica is a horror movie by half of the team that made Wreck. The movie Wreck.
Oh, okay. The
movie.
Original or the remake?
The original, the Spanish film.
The Spanish one?
Yeah.
Okay. Where it was like Satan, right? And not like...
Yeah, it's like a secret exorcism movie.
Right, because
you think it's like a zombie movie, but it's...
Because Wreck was just like rabies...
Well, Quarantine, the like American remake, was like rabies. Yeah. But in Wreck, it's like by the time you get to the end of it, there's like priests and talk of a girl who is possessed and exorcisms and stuff like that.
Okay.
Veronica follows a lot of similar ideas where it's a Ouija board and she's being haunted, and is it a spooky ghost or like a demon or something? And I don't know.
Who could say?
Yeah.
Who could even say?
But it's really scary. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, as scary, I don't know. I'm kind of dead on the inside at this point when it comes to horror movies, but it has things that should scare people. Does that make sense?
So if you're not dead on the inside.
because I've seen people that are like, this is more horrifying than The Conjuring, and I was like, I didn't get scared by The Conjuring either.
Conjuring was boring.
Yeah. So I was like, not scary, but yeah. So Veronica is on Netflix, so I suggest it.
Nice. I haven't watched. The problem I've gotten to is that I've been watching like YouTube videos. Some, I watched a 20-minute critical analysis of The Last Jedi.
And boy, am I not watching anything about The Last Jedi. I want to just enjoy my my memory of watching it. Like, I really don't want somebody to overanalyze it, make me not enjoy thinking about that movie.
Yep.
Have you heard the rumor?
What?
That Meryl Streep is going to replace Carrie Fisher as Leia Organa?
As like her greatest acting challenge yet.
The rumor is that she's going to replace her. Like, now Meryl Streep is now Leia.
Interesting.
But John and I were talking about it, and like the more logical thing is probably that she's going to play a similar character and kind of just fill that role because Leia's, Carrie Fisher's not around.
Would you be okay if they just recast her?
Fuck no.
No?
I'm too. So this is a bias. Like John and I had like a long discussion about it. And I was like, I was really like, you change out Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle for
as Rhodey and Iron Man.
Yeah, and that's and I was okay with that and was like, I don't know why anyone would get upset about that. There were reasons and blah blah blah. But I'm so emotionally attached to Carrie Fisher that I'm like a huge bias. Like I'm gonna get a Carrie Fisher tattoo. I like cry over everything Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
I can't imagine watching a Star Wars movie if they were like, Meryl Streep's going to be that role now. It just would be too much for me.
So, yeah, but it seems like the choices at this point, because they didn't... I mean, one of the things that I will kind of get, and I guess this is slightly spoilery, but Last Jedi is now out on VOD and Blu-ray, so like everybody who had a chance, that's kind of where I feel like spoiler talk.
She's supposed to be in the next movie.
Skip forward a bit. They had an opportunity to give her a dramatic death, and then they didn't. Yeah. And now you're left with the problem of she's a very pivotal character in that movie, and it would be weird in the next movie if, one, in the title crawl, she was just written out of the franchise, two, they did that horrible Rogue One CG person bullshit.
I mean, in fairness, we do have better technology now because people are using that technology to put celebrities' faces in porn.
Well, that's true. Yeah, okay. Get those deepfakes guys to make a...
No, and I'm dead serious. Like, they actually did do the same scene over again with their version of it, and it looked better. Rogue One, they redid it.
Really? That's interesting.
If I can find the link, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
On YouTube or whatever it got linked to me on, like Vimeo or whatever.
Okay.
But and it looked better because it's a better, easier working technology. So if they can, and honestly, if it's just like one slightly awkward scene where they kill her off or something happens and she's like, I must go with the Force, and she just like disappears, I'm kind of down for that.
Okay. What do you think about like turning her into like a Force orb and then just putting all of her everything she's ever said through like a vocoder or whatever, and then like make one of those, because you could like do that, right? If you input enough speech into there's programs, I forget what they call them, and then you can basically build a speech library. Yeah. You can just make it say whatever you want.
That's right. You can put anyone's face on anything and make them say anything. You don't even need people anymore.
Yep. Yeah, the next 20 years are going to be real interesting. Real interesting. I'm waiting for the first time that there's a court case with video evidence that is argued successfully against that video evidence was faked by the person, by the prosecution, in order to railroad my... You can't prove that this wasn't oh boy.
Oh man. That's dangerous territory. Sorry, I was down a rabbit hole.
No. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. But speaking of fake humans, people that are masquerading, is it the real thing? This is a trailer for season 2 of Westworld this week that I made Amanda watch.
Even though I don't watch Westworld.
Now, do you not watch Westworld just because you don't have access to HBO Go, or like, are you not interested in Westworld? I mean, I
really loved the original movie.
Okay.
With Yul Brynner. Mm-hmm. I even like the sequel.
Yeah.
Which also had Yul Brynner.
Wait, there was a...
It's Westworld, and then I think the sequel's called Future World.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That also has Yul Brynner, but for one scene, and it's a sex scene.
Right.
Because why not?
Mm-hmm.
If you get access to Yul Brynner, you fuck him. Duh. But I loved those movies. Those are like childhood, growing up watching movies.
Yeah.
And I was excited when I heard about the TV show.
Yeah.
And then mildly like against it in I'm an asshole kind of way. But everyone said it was good, and I was like, I want to watch it. All right, HBO. Well, guess I'll just wait.
Right.
And I'm just going to wait for the whole thing to finish, and then I'll probably watch it long after everyone's over it.
Yeah. I actually really liked the first season. It did, though, spawn a thing that I've talked about before, so I apologize. Jeff repeating himself. That's not a new thing.
Yeah, everyone take a shot.
Yeah. One of my favorite things was, as it was airing, there was a subreddit where people were trying to figure out what was going on it, and then one group figured it out.
Oh, did they?
Well, they had a theory, and that was the theory that ended up being the thing that happened at the end of the first season.
Nice. There's like one big mystery?
It's sort of. It's not entirely clear. There was kind of one facet of the show where it was like, who is this person and what's going... Ed Harris's character that you saw briefly in the trailer.
Yeah.
It was very mysterious. Like, who is this guy? Why? What is he doing? There's kind of a meta mystery about who is he? What is he doing? Anthony Hopkins has set up a bunch of... There's kind of like this all wheels and wheels happening, and what is this thing, and where did it come from?
Yeah.
But my favorite thing was that, this it was a lady that wrote an article about how, like, every week after the aired, she'd go to the subreddit. People would talk about this. They'd be compiling clues. They'd be putting together theories, and that somebody put together the theory that turned out to actually be the end of the season, the twist. And she was like, and then I felt robbed because I already knew that. Because it was like,
once it starts falling into place, you're like, holy shit, that guy's right.
Right. But I'm like, you're the one who
Don't go in a subreddit.
Who chose to pull at the thread on the sweater instead of just cutting it off with a piece of scissors.
Yeah.
It's not my fault if you're doing that thing where it's going back and forth and now you've got a half a sweater on.
You got a crop sweater? Who needs a crop sweater?
Nobody.
Somebody in the 80s that does a lot of weird weightlifting stuff.
Hot girls, maybe? I think in the 90s there was a brief belly sweater thing.
There was, and the 90s are back. But why? How does that make sense? The sweater is meant to keep you warm.
Amanda,
Who has a hot belly? Who suffers from hot tum?
Amanda, I have been exposed to the wonderful world of ladies' fashion as living with a lady.
Yeah.
And let me just say that most of your shit, most of y'all's shit just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's all cost twice as much, and it's like thin, and it falls apart all the time, and it's like, dry clean only. Mm-hmm. None of it has pockets.
Yes.
But a lot of it has like buttons and shit that don't do anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like lines. Yeah. You're like, why? But why? It's like, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like...
It's like when they redesigned the DC characters and they just had fucking lines all over the place. You're like, but why? And they're like, it's called fashion, honey. Look it up.
Yeah. So I don't know. But in any case, back to this. This looks good, in my opinion. I don't know how much of this... I mean, obviously, none of this meant anything to you because you didn't...
I feel no ways. But it only kind of vaguely makes sense to me.
Okay.
It's like very clear that you're jumping in after stuff happens.
Right.
But because I don't know the characters, I'm just like, are they robot people?
Well,
some of them, it's clear who's a robot people.
Yes.
But then other ones, it's like, but she's talking to somebody. Is that somebody a robot people?
Right. I think it's interesting because the whole first season, you could say, kind of built up to. So this is not here in the vaguest of terms. The movie Westworld seems like it would take place after like maybe 4 seasons of Westworld, and I like what I'm seeing here because it seems like the first season. This is also very dangerous territory. Let me get back to that. The first season was very much building the universe, building this mystery. The payoff of the mystery wasn't exactly like a final nail in the coffin. Like they could have ended the whole series with that season 1 if they wanted to, but I'm glad it's on HBO because HBO will
just let something run its course.
Yeah, keep making stuff. But I like the fact that it's like they did all this world building in season 1, and now I'm hoping that season 2 we can really kick into high gear plot movement because it's not like, well, question mark, or like we have to explain like who was this guy and what did he do?
Question, and I don't know if it becomes spoiler or anything because I'm basing it just on the movie,
right?
Because I know it's based on a book, but I never read the book.
Yeah, it's a Michael Crichton book,
which is probably why I never read it. But is it a vacation spot for the rich and powerful?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's so hyper realistic looking where
in the show
the movie looks like a Western movie. Like, it looks like they're like, oh, you want to be in a Clint Eastwood movie? Come on in. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, or like not even Clint Eastwood, but like John Wayne kind of.
But so what this is, I mean, I think anybody who's really invested in this probably already seen it, and this is not a very large spoiler, but it is implied that the Westworld movie happened. Those automatons were the like they were the early versions, and that these new ones are like a lot less. Your face fall off, Yul Brenner. Now you're Terminator face. Like they're like all super genetically engineered, like building them with kind of stuff, so that they. I
mean, even in Future World, they're obsolete technology.
Yeah.
So if you assumed it's even after that, then it'd be so much further.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, though, and I think it's...
But don't watch Future World. Jesus Christ.
So there you go. Do watch Westworld Season 2. Do not watch Future World.
Do watch Westworld the movie.
And Westworld Season 1.
Yes.
So
maybe read the book. I haven't read the book.
I haven't either. I'm not super interested. Last week on the podcast, John and I talked briefly about this Power Rangers live-action trailer for a comic book, this Power Rangers Shattered Grid. We watched the trailer for this. I kind of like this. Like, this
the trailer?
Well, it's so much more just like, I don't know. It seems like it's moving the Power Rangers from just like, I don't know. Okay, listen. I am talking directly out of my asshole here. I know that Power Rangers has been going for like 40 years, but I kind of like this dark, gritty.
Well, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has been around for 25 years.
Yeah.
It's definitely got like a darker tone because this is under the I mean if John's already explained it, then anyone that's listening already knows, but this is based on the idea that the Green Ranger stayed evil from the get-go, and he is like dimension hopping to all the different Power Rangers and killing all the Power Rangers.
Cool. He didn't go into that much detail. But I like the fact that his costume is a combination of like Lord Zed and the
kind of it's
the Green Ranger. Like his helmet has the red visor like Zed has, and kind of the stuff coming back off of it.
Yeah, it's he's got a lot more flair going on. That's for sure.
I think it's funny that in this one scene, it's like they've got this guy that's dressed up as like a Yellow Ranger, but he looks like kind of like kitted out in like space armor.
It kind of looks like BMX gear. Am I the only one?
No, I can see that.
It looks like bulky as shit BMX gear.
I can see that. And then like
that's a lady, by the way.
And then like the top half of Green Ranger Evil Man, is pretty cool, supervillain looking. But he's also wearing like these really tight spandex pants.
Yeah.
This is why Superman has the underwear on the outside.
Which they are bringing back. I don't know if you know, because he didn't have it for a while, and
so
they're bringing it back.
Look directly at Superman's
Super Wang.
Yes. Man of Steel.
His own personal caped crusader.
So this is specifically for a comic book.
Yeah, it's the Shattered Grid. I always want to call it Shattered Dimensions, but that's just because that's how my brain works. But it's the Shattered Grid big crossover event between, I believe, Go-Go Power Rangers and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which are the two, I want to say Boom Studios comics. Okay.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean I haven't read, I have not read any of the Power Ranger comics that have been coming out.
Yeah.
I love the art. I'm waiting for all the trades, and I'm waiting for John to buy them.
Fair enough.
Like, honestly, I'm just waiting so John can buy them.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
That's what being in a relationship is all about, people.
It's waiting for somebody else
taking turns buying the stuff we want.
Yeah, my lady friend is reading The Invisibles, this little Grant Morrison comic.
Yeah.
And she bought the first 2 trades, and I'm just like, ooh, if I wait long enough, maybe they'll all be here. I can reread The Invisibles. All right, cool. Well, from there, let's jump on over to video game news.
Oh, we still talk about that?
Yes, we do. And let's get started. We got a lot of Sea of Thieves. All right, but big ton of Sea of Thieves. So Sea of Thieves came out last week, or relatively week before last, depending on how you measure time.
Time is a construct.
It has there's a news story that came out that this is the fastest selling first party new IP of this generation at 2 million players, or going past 2 million players. Apparently that's a huge thing for them. that's good because I looked at Sea of Thieves and I couldn't think of any reason to keep playing it. After we played it for Rage Select, it just didn't seem like it was like what it was doing was really all that interesting. I mean, if you had like 4 friends that you wanted to really play a pirate game with, it seems like that would be fun.
Look, we've wanted a pirate game for a while.
I wanted a pirate. I like pirate games. I like Sid Meier's Pirates, Pirates of the Caribbean, Monkey Island. Like, I like pirate theming. It's just that I didn't really understand exactly what you were doing in that game, but apparently I'm not alone. Now, I also kind of wonder, or I am alone, but I also kind of wonder if this is due to the fact that the Xbox One has had very, very few system exclusives.
Yeah.
And that this is one of them, and that this is a big hyped game.
Yeah, so like if you're somebody with an Xbox, you're probably just going to buy it.
Yeah, which is a little strange, but I don't know. I mean, you know, my hope. This is my hope. My hope is that I kind of hope the same thing about Sea of Thieves that I hope about Final Fantasy 15. That I can go back to Sea of Thieves in 2 years, and they've really just put it all together and made it into a game. That's a really bad
business plan.
I know.
It's like,
yeah.
We made a pretty decent game now, but in 2 years, that shit's going to be on point.
Well, you know what? I would push back on that a little bit of saying that, like, when you think about, like, last week, Injustice 2 just put out their Legend Edition of Injustice 2. Mm-hmm. It's Injustice 2, and then all, what was it, 8? Or, no, 6? 8? It's 3 per pack. Fighter Pack 1, Fighter Pack 2, Fighter Pack 3, 9?
9.
Additional characters and the pre-order stuff and a bunch of other things, and the whole story mode is still there, and they've got the multiverse. You don't have to deal with any connectivity issues, and it costs probably, I think, less than the base game did last year when it came out. So, like, I would argue that most games that have a season pass, which is most games, there is a reason why it would be more... If we weren't all hyped up all the time, it would be more reasonable for me to play Far Cry 5 when the Game of the Year edition that has all the DLC and costs $40 comes out, after the patches and the connectivity bugs have been worked out, after the devs have done balance changes for multiplayer or whatever. Like, we almost live in a world now where you'd be better off playing last year's games now because at least they're fixed now, as opposed to trying to hammer on a overloaded server on day one to log into, you know, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, you make valid points sometimes.
Yay!
Finally!
Next up on Sea of Thieves, there's a new update that's coming, and it's going to add a few things to the game. First off, you're going to get Favorite Pirate, which basically there's a whole set. Like, when you start Sea of Thieves, it gives you like 8 randomly selected pirates, and you just choose one of those. But apparently you can save a potential that you might want to save and then re-roll and see if you get something better, to just give people the ability to maybe try to find a pirate that's more to their liking. Because literally, I mean, you boot the game up when you're creating a new game, and it's like, here's 8 pirates, choose from them, and they're all randomly generated. And you don't have a lot of control over that. So apparently they're going to give you some more control over that. Apparently there was a delay with achievement unlocks that's going to be fixed. Snakes are going to be added into more play. It says here, along with pigs and chickens, snakes have now been added to the island. There were snakes before, I don't really know. But the big thing that caused a little bit of a kerfuffle was death cost. So the description of this says, a trip to Davy Jones' locker is going to start costing you gold. The way that you meet your demise will affect how much gold you will have to pay. So dying from a kraken will most likely cost less than if you were staring at a map and walked off a cliff. Rare does not...
So you have to pay more if you die in a dumb way?
I guess so. That's Rare hilarious. Does not intend for this gold fee to be applied to any PvP-related deaths. So just in PvE, if you get killed, you've got to eat it. I don't really understand why that would be. I mean, especially if it doesn't apply to PvP. I guess the PvP, a lot of times, you know, you go do 3 missions and you load up the treasure in your boat, and you're taking it back to turn it all in, and then somebody, you know, overhauls you, and then they get onto your ship and they take all the treasure back. You know, they take all your booty. They steal the booty.
They're stealing your booty.
That maybe they don't want to add insult to injury by putting that over, but it doesn't really matter because after they announced this, there was a huge amount of pushback from the community.
Yeah.
And they basically said, "All right, nah."
They're like, "Psych,"
which is also a little troubling to me because it's one of those things. I have a real problem in this year in the place that we are in video game media development in general of that the players should influence the game development. Like if there was a good reason for them to implement that death cost that was going to make, like they were going to up the amount of cash that you normally got, but then institute a death cost to make there be some stakes, right?
Yeah.
That just because the people that are playing the game don't want the game to get any harder, doesn't maybe necessarily mean that the game couldn't have benefited
from that
structurally from that addition.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, were those coins things that you can get, or was the booty anything you can get with real world money? And
not as near as I can tell. I don't think so.
Because if it's a scenario where they're like, every time you die, you lose gold coins. The only way to get gold coins is to either play or you could give us money. And then when they create a scenario where they're kind of just pulling points away, gold coins away from you just for kind of playing the game, then
I don't really
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. But at the end of the day, and please, for the love of God, write in and tell me if I'm wrong about this, but as near as I could tell when I'm playing the game, at the end of the day, the only thing that those gold coins get you are cosmetic items. There is not a better sword that you could buy for money. You buy a fancier looking sword that plays exactly the same as the opening. Like the kit you have when you start the game is the kit you have. You can buy mastheads and jackets and peg legs and everything, but it doesn't change the way you play the game at all. So that's
sometimes confidence is important, Jeff, and you need to wear the right outfit for the right job.
Right. I guess I don't understand that to me is not enough of a game. Like if I was going to make an analogy to Overwatch, but that's not, it doesn't even work that way.
Yeah.
Like there's no incentive. I don't find that to be a good enough incentive for me to play the game.
Yeah.
Right. Like the gameplay loop, I don't get the dopamine squirt for buying a new jacket, especially considering that you have to go do like 4 or 5 quests to get enough money to buy one thing, and then I guess putting
maybe
in
that's why, because
a death tax. But then it makes me wonder why they would have even considered it in the first place. Like maybe people were just going online and suicide running quests or something to build up. I don't really know.
I don't know.
That's not really the way that it works, though. I just, it's weird to me because I feel like I'd much rather have them be adding more ships or bigger servers, or I feel like there's some other stuff that they could maybe add first before the things that they're talking about. Of course, it is a week after the game came out, so maybe chill the fuck out, Jeff. Maybe just wait.
I mean, sure. Maybe wait 2 years and then play it.
Yeah. And then finally, the first pirate legend has emerged in Sea of Thieves. So if you reach level 50, you do 3 types of quests in Sea of Thieves. You do merchant quests, is kind of voodoo quests, and then you do these chests, the kind of piratey stuff. And then when you turn those quest rewards in, it levels you up with those different factions, and when you hit level 50 with all 3 of those factions, you get the title of pirate legend.
And
apparently the first person to do that was a Twitch user named Prodigy X, with a 1 for the I in Prodigy.
Nice.
But apparently this guy is now just like taking epic amounts of shit from people because he was streaming and people in his stream chat helped him to succeed to level 50, and so people are like, you're bad at this game, like other crews did most of the work, other people helped you all watched.
Yeah. Like, sorry, I can't get mad if you're like, you were on a winning basketball team but you didn't dribble the ball at all. Right. But I was still on the fucking winning team. Right. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Sorry, that's the luck of the draw.
I think it's pretty funny. I think it kind of I don't know. My favorite part of all this is that he hasn't really like chimed in, but he did share like a video on Twitter that was criticizing the way that he went about getting this title, and and his tweet is, "This is nuts. I just wanted to see what Pirate Legend was. Like, I just wanted to get to that in the game. Like, I don't give a fuck if you say I'm bad. Like,
you're not good at this game. I mean, okay."
Oh, yeah, and then people are using hashtag not my Pirate Legend.
Stupid.
This is the stupidest story.
Thank God you took the time to have us talk about this one, Jeff. I'm so excited.
Yep, you can go back and look at this hashtag.
Hang on, I'm going to go on Twitter and abuse this guy now.
Let me read some of these tweets. "It was always about the fame, not the game. Hashtag not my Pirate Legend." Yeah, this is really funny and makes an exceptionally good segue into the next thing, which is, I believe, somewhat Sea of Thieves related, but it brings up an interesting can of worms.
Yeah.
Apparently last week, the Xbox terms of services altered, and the code of conduct now basically says that using, quote, offensive language is against the terms of service and could earn you a ban. Apparently this was not in there before.
Like what define offensive language?
That's what it says.
It just says offensive language.
It says offensive language.
So like shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, fart, turd, twat, any.
We obviously on Rage Select, we don't have any problems with offensive language. We actually really adore offensive language.
Oh yeah.
But it brings up a really interesting point, and I think that okay, so your Xbox, you got this Sea of Thieves game. You want everybody to be able to play it, but as near as I can tell, like Sea of Thieves has a thing where if you have voice comms turned on, and you get close to another player, like a player that's not on your team, they hear what you're saying into your voice comms. And some of the reviews that I've read of this game have been about how like a bunch of people jumped on my ship and started calling me the N-word and then like killed me, took all my stuff and left.
Yeah.
And like, fuck this game. I don't want to play this game.
Yeah, that'd make a game like unenjoyable, unplayable.
Sure. Now, so I have a few questions. I will direct them to you and then the people in the audience can also answer them. One, Microsoft, what's taking so long? Xbox Live has had like a reputation as being a scumfuck hive of shit monsters for a decade now. Like, I got less random abuse off of the PC and the PlayStation than I ever did on Xbox Live. And maybe it was because it was the first place to just give you a microphone right off the bat and be like, here you go. But I guess the deeper question, the one that we can actually talk about is, should people be allowed to swear online?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, I'm anti-censor.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can just mute mics. Or you can mute other people's mics. You know what I mean? You can like decide you don't want to hear what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird kind of slope to get into it because, you know, then it's
who decides what's offensive language.
Yeah. I wish it was really specific. I mean, if it's something like you can't say specific words and they're like, you can't use the N-word, you can't use this word or whatever, I might be a little more okay with it.
Sure.
Or if they just specified more, because if you just say offensive language, I could literally just be like, you're a real jerk.
Right.
And then be like, the way they said it, the context, you know what I mean, is what was offensive, and they could be like, well, all right, and then ban. You know what I mean? It's just, I wish they were a little
or if you
more clear.
If you say to somebody, if you're mean to, because you could be mean to somebody without using harsh language.
I mean, I can.
Yeah, I mean, if you say to somebody, look, you don't know how to play video games. You're so bad at this. Why are you so bad at this? Leave. Why are you're dragging down our team? Leave. What's your problem? Why are you like this? Have you never played a video game before?
Yeah.
Like, you can make somebody feel bad without using profanity.
Yeah.
So is that offensive language is a good question. And yes, I agree with you that there should be. The only problem that I have is that this is the internet, Amanda.
Yeah.
And when you say, here's the list of things that you can't
They're going to do that even more?
No, then they immediately figure out how to walk right up to that line and still be offensive without putting a toe on the other side.
As somebody
right?
who is like a moderator of a fairly popuar website,
right.
I can tell you right now that
BuzzFeed.com.
Yeah, I was 100% an employee of BuzzFeed.com. Why I left BuzzFeed? because they don't like my fucking language.
I get 2 million hits. You can write a fake article called "Why I Left BuzzFeed."
You know, like I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I walked in and they asked me to leave.
Mm-hmm. It's just a clickbait article. Like, ma'am, you don't work here. You're gonna have to go. You're, oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
I thought this was America, and then I leave. But now I forgot what I was saying. I just thinking about
walking
the
right up
article.
to the line, specifying what is abuse or what
it's
or
almost
offensive.
Instinctual for some people to be like, oh, I can't say a certain word or I can't speak in a certain way or like whatever. That they will do everything but that thing,
right? And
be annoying little pieces of shit, and ruining it for everybody just so they can be like, I'm not touching you, but I'm not touching you, but I'm not touching you. It's like you're still doing something that's a physical like attack. You can't just do that. So it's just even that though is a slippery slope. They're like, we're gonna ban offensive language, and now everyone's just gonna be.
I don't know
what offensive language is.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like, I have no solution to this, but I think that there should be because I feel like, in a lot of ways, when it is Wild West, this is an extreme problem that I have about the free speech and the internet because. Freedom of speech is great, but it was never designed for the volume of the internet.
Like millions of people talking out loud, every thought they have in their mind all at once.
Yes. Yeah. And the idea...
all of it getting projected to you in not fucking a timeline that's efficient for anybody.
Hell, even the fact that most of it's text that doesn't have any tone behind it.
Yeah.
As human beings, like even hearing the tone of my voice... This whole thing is different. You could tell when I'm being sarcastic or hyperbolic as opposed to typing. But the problem that I end up with is the concept that I think a lot of people have talked about, which is that when you don't moderate at all, then your discourse is basically brought down to the level of your that the mean shitheads end up being the ones who control the conversation because everybody else is just like, I don't want to fucking like, I don't want to play Overwatch with voice comms on and then have to go through muting people as they start to become shitty and offensive.
Automatically mute. Like, what if all games start off muted, but voice comms are optional, and then you go through and check mark on the voice comms of people you want to hear?
It's weird. I think that they're a lot of people. Whenever this concept comes up, a lot of people say, well, it's the internet. You just can't do anything about it. And I think that's a cop-out because I think you could try.
Yeah.
Like, you may not be successful, but you could try. I've always been more in favor of, I think that one of the things that's missing, and this is missing on Facebook and on YouTube and on Xbox Live and a lot of places, is that technology, this is a decision that must be made by a human person. And it's almost like, I would rather see Microsoft employ a huge number of people that, like, when you get flagged enough times, that a person goes back and basically listens to everything you've said into your voice comms over the last 3 months and goes, you're a shithead, like 6-month ban, right? Because the problem
that doesn't make you feel uncomfortable? Somebody goes back and listens to the last 6 months worth of things that you've said.
Have you been paying attention?
I have, but it's still like weird to be like, well, we should just utilize all the data that we already know that you're taking from us.
Right. Well, if you're going to, like, as far as I'm concerned, they're going to take nobody's concerned enough about the data. We're wandering off over here now, but nobody's concerned about I think this Cambridge Analytica story showing how much Facebook, I downloaded my Facebook profile, looked at what they had, and it was pretty fucking terrifying.
Disgusting.
And you could do the same thing with Google, and it's pretty terrifying. By default, Windows 10 has a whole series of things that do the same thing that are just all turned on by default.
Yeah.
And that, like, nobody really
I already know
cares.
my search history, so I'm good to go.
Right, but nobody really gives a shit, even though a lot of this stuff is incredibly sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm saying is that if they're just gonna record every single goddamn thing that you say anyway,
they might as well use it for good.
And maybe use this so that I don't have to listen to a 13-year-old use the N-word when I'm playing Call of Duty.
I just feel like I don't really want to be the person that's actively like, I mean, here's a thing you can do so that we're okay with you taking our data. I'd rather just actively be not okay with them taking all that information.
That's a whole other podcast.
We have the time.
Not the Rage Select podcast, which is that, I think you should stop using Facebook. I think that you should really, honestly, go do the research this weekend and find out how to opt out of as many of these things as possible. Go to Google and go through the steps to delete that cache of information. Yeah. I read an article of somebody who downloaded their Google cache. It was 5 gigs.
Yeah.
This is not video. This is text.
Yeah.
This is 5 gigs of text and pictures.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of data. Facebook's taking it.
You know how Facebook tells you about the data that it has? Every day it has an on this day, and it goes, look at all the shit from years.
Yeah.
We've been saving on you.
The only upside to this is that I lurk on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I don't ever post anything. I barely like anything. I only pretty much use it just to communicate back and forth with people. Mm-hmm. And yes, they have all those logs, and you could look it through every message that I've ever sent through the history of all of Facebook. But
that'd be interesting.
Facebook doesn't really know all that much about me because, one, I don't really use Facebook. 2, I don't really shop online, so I'm kind of a black hole for them. Like, I went to go look at Purple Mattress's website. My browser has been trying to sell me a Purple mattress ever since. It's been trying to sell me a purple dog bed, a purple pillow, a special offer on a mattress, and I just don't click on it. And so every day
it's like, please, we don't know what you want.
Right.
Tell us what to sell you.
Yeah.
I was laughing earlier because you clicked an article. One of the articles you had up had an ad for Crocs, and I was like, what the fuck are you on, Jeff?
Yep. They don't know.
Like
they don't know.
They're like crap shooting. Like, what? Crocs? Do you want Crocs? How do you feel about fidget spinners, Jeff?
Nope. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'd be interested. Goddamn, we are so far behind now.
I'm sorry.
But it's interesting. I think it's interesting. I'm interested to see how they're going. I kind of like what Blizzard has done so far with trying to get people to fucking be nice on Overwatch. Like, if you can't be a human being, we don't want you to do this. Yeah. Go fucking play some garbage thing with bullshit people. And I don't think, like, you wouldn't invite somebody into your house who's a jerk ass and poops in your floor. I mean...
No. Well, I don't do that last part. You know of.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, let's get off this topic and move on.
Yay.
So that's the world of Xbox. And the world of Sony, PSVR is getting a $100 price drop.
Oh, my God. It's more affordable so Matt Frank can buy Arc Park?
Yes. Yes. But it's not. Okay, so specifically the bundle that was $399, which was just the headset, no controllers, no demo disc, no nothing.
Yeah.
Is getting slashed to $299, just the headset, no move controllers, etc. So that's good. I think that the main bundle is still $449, which has the controllers.
Why wouldn't they lower that too?
I think because that has a lot more hardware and a game with it. So
like, that was really cheap to begin with,
right? So I think that I don't know. I mean, like,
it's still really good though.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to spread VR, especially with last week the news that the new Vive is going to be like $800 or something. Like that.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah. Oh, just hang on. I didn't realize it was a fucking Rockefeller. I'll just go to the bank and pull out $800 magical fucking dollars.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm very poor.
I think you need to upgrade your computer fast enough to be able to run it, because
I don't have a computer, Jeff. Yep. I'd buy an entire new diamond-encrusted computer.
Yep.
With my millions of dollars.
Okay.
I don't have any money. Can it play on my cell phone?
No.
Good,
no.
Because my cell phone's garbage. Too.
Anyway, I think it's a good way to get people into it. And there's several games, like things like Skyrim, that you can just play with a controller, so you don't need the move controllers for every game.
Oh, that's even better. So you can play like certain stuff without.
Yeah, I think you still need to get the camera though. It'd be interesting to look up what it would cost to buy all that other stuff
separately
on top.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo put out is bringing some new Super Mario Odyssey outfits.
Respects its own strange past.
Yep. So these two outfits are a Baseball Mario, and then Satellaview Mario. Do you know what Satellaview is?
No.
Okay, so Satellaview is a peripheral for the Super Nintendo that was only available in Japan that would let people dial up to the internet and like stream weird stuff. And the commercial for it had this outer space Mario.
Yeah, a little Spaceman Mario.
Spaceman Mario, and that's what the outfit is. So it's kind of strange.
Yeah, a little weird.
But there was a sequel to the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past that was, I watched a whole thing about it that was like, it was on the Satellaview and you would dial up and it was weird because it was like streamed over dial-up, so you could only play it like from 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then they put it out in chunks, and you couldn't play it when it wasn't
out,
being streamed.
That's weird.
Yeah, you can now, but
that's like interesting. Actually,
it's kind of a crazy model.
Yeah,
I think they might have also done the same thing with. There was a Final Fantasy 4 DLC, I think, that might have had that same thing. I think I don't. No, that was on the Wii. Never mind. But in any case, it's interesting, and it's a kind of a cool looking outfit too. So
yeah,
if you're looking for a reason to go back and play Super Mario Odyssey, which you shouldn't really need because Super Mario Odyssey is the fucking great.
Yeah,
so
it's adorable.
Did you get all the stars, all the moons?
No, I'm on the final level. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, wait. Just a single player.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't beaten it yet.
No. John played it first, and then I get distracted, and I.
Well, you've been playing Kirby though,
yeah,
right?
That's why I've been playing Kirby. John bought me Binding of Isaac, so I've been playing Binding of Isaac.
Okay. How's Kirby?
Fun.
Okay.
It's adorably fun. I mean, it's all basically the same. And then it's just me going, "Oh my god, a new friend! I got a new friend!" And then John being like, "Yeah, you made friends with one of those before." And I'm like, "But I didn't. I needed a flamey guy because stuff was ice, and I needed to melt it. And it's really exciting to have him back. It's just so happy to see him."
Okay.
I just get like childishly happy. I'm sorry.
I feel like Nintendo's good at that. Nintendo's really good at that. I'll tell you who's not very good at childish happiness, and those are the folks over at No Man's Sky.
Ugh, how they doing?
Yeah. Well, I think they're doing okay because coming a little bit later this year, there's going to be a new update called Next, which, I mean...
Next, when everyone saw No Man's Sky, they were like, Next! And they're like, we're going to take it and we're going to own it.
Maybe. I do know that No Man's Sky has gotten significantly better since it originally came out. There's like a whole bunch of different... all those updates, bases... fucking freighters, cars, all that shit was pretty good. But the big thing with this is that it's also coming to the Xbox One.
Oh.
So when it was originally released, it was a PS4 PC exclusive.
Yeah.
Now you can play on the Xbox One.
Yay.
It's coming this summer. So it's also going to have the Xbox One version is going to have Foundation, Pathfinder, Atlas Rises, and Next from the first day, and 4K and HDR. Again, every time this comes up, I have to say I feel like not enough people are giving No Man's Sky and Hello Games enough credit for trying to fix what they released.
Yeah.
And not just taking everybody's money and running away. Like, this is costing them. They're not selling they're probably selling some new copies, but the vast majority of No Man's Sky was probably already purchased, and the fact that they could have just taken that money and then gone and tried to make a new game, but instead they've been trying to basically make this game into what they maybe wanted it to be, or time constraint, or whatever,
or at least a better version of it.
Whatever it is, I have to appreciate it because the amount of the game is so different from what it was when it first came out. So
yeah,
that's a good thing. Overwatch. I don't know if you guys like Overwatch.
No, never heard of it.
I like a little bit of Overwatch. Apparently in April, the Uprising event is coming back. Remember last year,
like anniversary thing, or not anniversary?
That was the one where it was like the throwback, where they were all in Overwatch, and it was Torbjorn, Tracer's first mission, Mercy, and Reinhardt, I believe. and then it was like you're fighting a bunch of basically bastions and Orisas.
That's right. Yeah.
The Omnic invasion in Kings Row during the daytime, and you could get all of those. You could get like the Widowmaker before when she still had not blue skin, and like the Genji prototype, and that the McCree one was like the best one, where it was like McCree before he had his bionic arm back when he was just regular
a regular cowboy.
Yeah.
So
that's coming back in April, and apparently they're also going to be bringing in a new mission for Tracer specifically. Like, I don't know. But that's cool because this is the closest thing to like a single player campaign that Overwatch has really ever had.
Yeah. Love it.
Yep. Oh man. I was watching Overwatch videos last night. I watched a 20-minute video where there was like a kid, like a 9 to 10-year-old who was literally crying because somebody picked Soldier 76, and Soldier 76 was his main, and he wanted them to stop being Soldier 76. And every new round, he would get inflamed. At the end, he was just calling everybody the N-word and screaming and then breaking down into crying tears about, why won't you let me play Soldier? And I was just like, I can't look away from this.
Yeah.
This is horrifying.
Man, when you watch cringe videos on your off time, what the hell's wrong with you?
I was watching something on YouTube, and then I let YouTube keep going, and then suddenly I heard.
See, you say that like they don't have data on you, but they know you watch a lot of really fucked up videos, Jeff.
Maybe. No. Just because there's Nicki Minaj videos in my thing doesn't mean to get drunk and
there is a lot of Nicki Minaj videos, though.
There's the same 2 Nicki Minaj videos, Anaconda and Super Bass. I don't know anything else from Nicki Minaj. All right. Speaking of Nicki Minaj, Persona 5 is going to be simulcast. The anime of Persona 5 is going to be simulcast in both America and Japan starting on April 7th because, was it Aniplex Aniplex USA is doing the same thing like they did with One Punch Man, where they're basically going to be streaming it on their website, I think with ads at the same time that it's coming out in Japan. I think that's fucking awesome as somebody who likes anime and doesn't like to wait for it to come over here. That we finally gotten at least some solutions for just like, it's fucking 2018 and I want to watch it
now.
Yeah. Don't make me download a fan sub torrent of it. Just let me watch it.
Yeah.
You got some subtitles.
I mean, they're not making you download a fan sub torrent, Jeff. Nobody's making you do anything. This is America.
They're making me do it. They're making me do it.
You don't see, but my arm's being twisted right now.
Yep. So a while back, Swery, Deadly Premonition creator and D4 Dark Dreams Don't Die did a crowdfunding thing on Fig for a game called The Good Life, about a young lady who goes to a news reporter who goes to an English village, and at night everybody turns into either cats or dogs, and there's a murder and whatnot, and it failed. And so they've retasked, and they are now launching again on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And that started up this week. As of this recording, they have $191,588 of their $639,476,000 goal. I believe that their goal when they were on Fig was like $1.5 million. So I think
so they're going way lower than that.
I feel like they've already kind of cut in under that. There's a new video out talking about it. It looks pretty much exactly the same. It's almost entirely identical, I feel like, to what we saw before.
Yeah.
They do kind of put the murder mystery front and center.
For like a second, and then they just keep talking about the girl being a photographer and how she pays debt. Yep. That's how you level up. You pay debt and you live your life.
Yep.
It's the most adult-sounding game I've ever heard.
Yes.
And then you turn into a dog or cat.
Yes. There's a lot of weirdness because this is both a Kickstarter thing and Japanese. We keep zooming in on this one guy's face, and it really...
You don't want to talk about the luchador monkey that they're holding?
I mean, what would you like me to say?
Well, I don't know. Why would you mention the guy getting his face, them zooming in on his face, but you don't mention that Swery is holding a monkey the entire time?
Yep. He does that in all of his videos. I don't know why.
He likes that monkey.
I guess so. And it's also wearing a luchador mask in one of these. I don't know. I kind of hope that they get a chance to make this because Swery is a really kind of innovative and creative director, and I'd be interested in playing this. It seems like they're having a lot of trouble, though. So.
Yeah. Well, they have 34 days.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I feel a lot better with Kickstarter projects when what I'm able to report is like, oh, they opened it 4 hours ago and they've already surpassed their goal. Yeah. Hooray!
I don't know how often that happens anymore, except unless it's like some celebrity that everyone already knows. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like Nathan Fillion came out and said he wants to do some kind of nerdy thing. Oh, it was already funded.
Yeah.
And it's like, duh, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
From there, we're going to jump into some trailers. Lego has so run out of superheroes to make games about, or just games in general to make games about, that we're getting Lego The Incredibles. This looks so boring.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, they're just putting together the logo.
Well, I already know what this game is going to be.
I mean, it's the two movies.
Yeah, it's going to be the first and the second movie, and it's going to be a Lego game. It's going to play exactly the same as all the rest of the Lego games.
Yeah, I really liked Lego City Undercover, but everyone was a dick about it, and not a lot of people liked it, and so it just they kind of pulled away from original stuff and just did movie stuff.
I guess I kind of wish that they would try different, because there's like Lego Marvel superheroes like 1, 2, and 3, and DC superheroes like 1 and 2, and then like I kind of wish they would try something different that wasn't superheroes. Yeah, because they have the Lord of the Rings, and they have the Star Wars ones,
they have Jurassic Park,
but they'd find something.
They need to stop doing movies.
Yeah,
they need to stop doing like licensed stuff and just do.
I think the licensed stuff has made them more money than anything else.
Of course it has, but made. I mean, they should just.
And people enjoy the games. I guess.
A lot of these Lego games are for kids, though. I mean, it's hard to be like dicks about it when it's like a younger kid. It's basically fail-proof kind of game.
Yeah,
I found them enjoyable. It's kind of boring to me at this point. Like, unless it's something I really want to play. Unless you're doing like fucking Lego Death Becomes Her, I highly doubt I'm going to be playing.
What about Lego Star Trek? It's like,
it'd be neat, but it still wouldn't drive me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, there needs to be a fucking Mass Effect style Star Trek game, and I don't know why they never did one.
Yeah.
Especially now that there isn't a Mass Effect really that anybody gives a shit about.
Also, now that Star Trek has become all fucking like crazy action, dark, gritty sci-fi blaster, pew 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 pew. Like,
I hope that the Orville has a video game that's like Mass Effect before Star Trek has one.
Yeah,
just to be like, God, they just do everything better.
That'd be cool. I haven't finished watching it. I've watched a few, but I kind of liked what I watched of it. I just always remember that it exists when I'm really tired, and then I end up watching one episode and falling asleep. So
I'm really bad at watching TV shows, so we're like 6 TV shows in waiting.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna pick up the pace here. Detective Pikachu is out. They got a launch trailer. I don't know what it is about Detective Pikachu that is so charming to me.
He loves it.
I love it. It's so...
Jeff's all about it.
I don't like Pokemon.
Jeff's going to be Detective Pikachu for Halloween this year.
Interesting. I mean, I don't like Pokemon, but I like this gruff Pikachu.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part at the end where he eats like a cookie.
It's spicy.
And he's like, it's spicy. This is super spicy. And I'm just like, in a world of Pokemon, I like this grizzled ass electric mouse that has to go interview Pokemon that say one word
they just
to try to solve a mystery. Like,
it's great.
I don't know. I want the amiibo. I want the giant
Pikachu amiibo.
I want to know what happens when I touch the giant Pikachu amiibo to Dark Souls on the Switch.
Oh, Jesus. Of course you do.
I do. I really want to know. Anyway, I don't know. It seems like... And it's out now, so, somebody in the comment section, I'm sure, already has it. Tell me if it's any good, because I don't like to buy 3DS games unless I'm really into what they're putting down.
Yeah.
Jurassic World Evolution has a new trailer where you build in Jurassic Park. Amanda hates it.
I don't hate it. They've just done it before.
Yeah.
I feel like they act like it's like the first time you've ever been able to do a theme park simulator, a Jurassic Park theme park simulator, but Jurassic Park Operation Genesis.
How long ago did that come out?
2003, 15 years ago.
It's the time for a new one.
Same fucking game.
Better graphics.
The best part was they would have storms, and which is even shown in the trailer that they have storms in this one as well.
Yeah.
But the dinosaur could get struck by lightning, and it would explode, and it was magical. And just sometimes it would just happen, and that's it.
I'm sure Matt Frank could not be happier. My only suggestion to you developers of Jurassic World Evolution is make the game really hard. Make it so that, like, in order to successfully actually run this theme park and people not to get killed, it's so hard because life finds a way out of your bullshit.
Just be sure that I have to spare no expense.
Yes. Let's see. I'm going to skip some of these. Let's skip these two. So our last trailer is, I didn't actually have Amanda watch this, but there was a 35-minute trailer or gameplay demo for Mutant Year Zero. Now, I feel like a little... Did you and I talk about this? Where it was like the duck and the pig man and the lady, and they were walking around. I don't think you were on when we were talking about that. It was a cinematic trailer, and this is ending up being like a tactical shooter with like a turn-based tactical shooter where you're in this weird mutant future.
Like XCOM, kind of?
Yeah, like XCOM, where people are moving around and you're doing stuff.
That weird Mario game where you shoot people?
Mario and rabbits.
Yeah.
Yep. This game looks really cool.
Yeah.
I watched this whole video, and it really kind of goes into, there's a planning kind of setup mode that happens in real time, and then you can kind of choose when you want to go into the turn-based battle. It looks really good. It actually looks a lot more finished than I thought when I first saw the first trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that duck can wear a hat, so that can happen.
Is his name Howard?
His name is Dux, D-U-X.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah,
I'm a bigger fan of Howard the Duck.
But if you're at all a fan of strategy RPGs, you should go watch this video. So it's, like I said, it's 35 minutes.
Oh my God, he is wearing a hat.
He's wearing a top hat. It's pretty cool. And this looks like it's going to be a pretty cool game. So I don't know. Check it out. All right, so let's get into the last bits. Some announcements. Doom is getting a 4K patch on PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So if you have a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X, you can now play the original Doom in 4K.
Yay!
I highly recommend that you play the original Doom even if you don't have a 4K TV, because Doom is awesome.
Yay! Demons and monsters and hell and Mars.
Yes. Speaking of Mars and 4K, Red Faction Guerrilla is getting remastered.
I want to quit.
Edition.
I want to quit.
I didn't make it up. I didn't do that.
You said it.
I did.
You chose to have it.
Yeah. That's coming out Q2 of 2018, sometime between now and the end of June. I actually remember playing Red Faction Guerrilla a long time ago. Red Faction, of course, was one of the first franchises to be like, you can destroy whatever you want to. Everything can be blown up.
And we were like, good, and we destroyed everything.
Yes. I'd be interested. All the buzz says that Red Faction Guerrilla was like the best one, and I never really got a chance to sit down and play it. So, hey, that's cool. Dragon Quest IX has a release date, September 4th. It's coming to the West, the PS4 and the PC. Don't think it's going to be coming to the Xbox One or the 3DS, at least not announced at the moment. So, yeah, if you care about Dragon Quest, there you go.
Yay, September.
System Shock, the reboot of System Shock that was put on hiatus a little while back, now has a new release date, which is 2020, sometime in 2020. They're moving from Unity to the Unreal Engine. This was the one where they went back and they started remaking System Shock. They realized that if they wanted to make it more Bioshocky like they wanted to, they had to go back in and redo some of the actual environments. Like they had to create new new like pathways for you to sneak or things like that, because the original was not a very super sophisticated game.
Yeah.
They ended up doing so much that they realized they were just making a brand new game, and they started to wonder, like, are people who are wanting to play a remaster of this game going to be interested in ostensibly a brand new game and not a remaster?
Yeah.
So they're trying to tone that back down, looking at kind of restarting back to 2020. And now for a couple of quick funds. Apparently, Fortnite is on cell phones, and it now has a tooltip that says, Mr. Hillman says, stop playing in class, which is a thing where apparently an actual person, Mr. Hillman, was... it doesn't say where he's from, but he was an actual teacher, an actual school that basically went onto the subreddit to ask the creators of Fortnite, could you please put in a tooltip that says Mr. Hillman says stop playing in class? I think it would really freak my students out.
And they said yes.
And they said yes.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, I don't even know. Goddamn, like how do you keep kids from cell phoning during class?
You beat them regularly.
You can't beat them anymore.
I mean, in some states you can still beat them.
That's true.
Like hit them in the knuckles with the ruler.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
You never heard that though? Like,
no, I heard
schools?
it. When I went to school, one of my teachers had a paddle.
Really?
And she was the one that everybody was fucking afraid of, because if you fucked around in her class,
you get the paddling.
You got a paddling. Like you got like
that's a paddling.
That's a paddling. Anyway, yeah. So that's kind of cool. But the best news of the entire week, it's been a weird week for news. The best news of the entire week is, okay, so do you remember Let It Die with Uncle Death?
Yes.
Okay. So Let It Die is getting some Killer 7 content, which is pretty cool, but there was some other things that were coming to Let It Die that had big question marks on them.
Uh-huh.
We now know what one of those question marks is.
What is one of them question marks, Jeff?
It's going on dates with Uncle Death in a romance minigame for Let It Die.
Finally. I can finally really wish he wasn't called Uncle Death, though.
Yep.
Really makes it weird.
Yep. He's so great, Uncle Death.
He's so dreamy.
He's so great. But apparently...
that image is beautiful.
You can now ascend the tower instead of via combat, via doing dating minigames with Uncle Death.
I'm into it.
I mean, he's into you a lot. He calls you a senpai the entire time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
So, he's super into the player.
Oh, man, I love the visuals of that game.
Yep. We are going to, you and I are going to have to check this out.
Yes,
when it comes
dude, I'm totally down to date some Uncle Death.
Yeah.
Death. I wanted to call
Uncle Death was the best part of that game. He was the best part of that game. So, and with that, we are going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to answer some questions. So stick around, and we'll see you in a minute. We're back. And mail@rageslate.com is the email address for everybody to send in their questions to. We don't actually have a lot of questions this week. And so
long answers.
We got 5 questions, and I feel like we can meander as much as we want to when it comes to the answers.
Don't mind if I do.
And our first question this week comes in from Irish Spartan, who says, hello, Jeff and Amanda. Irish Spartan here. It's been a while since I sent in a question, but after watching your Let's Play on Sea of Thieves, I just had to send one in. What is the deal with Sea of Thieves and its coverage? I played a little of it, solo and with friends, and what I got from it was a seafaring shell of a game. Repetitive, only cosmetic differences, no progression, barely worth $20, in the same vein as No Man's Sky. Why are so many people, fans and reviewers, willing to look the other way for this game, but not No Man's Sky? Is it because of nostalgia for Rare and wanting them to succeed? Is it because the Xbox needs at least one exclusive game to win this year, and video game reviewers are trying to make something out of nothing for Microsoft's sake? Let me know what you think. Best regards, Irish Spartan. So, I know you haven't really played it all that much.
I haven't played it, but I do, just from what I've read and what I've heard from other people, just kind of come off a little like it's a love of Rare and a wanting of it to be good.
Yeah.
And it's hard to compare to No Man's Sky because No Man's Sky was supposed to be this big evolutionary different thing, and then what you got wasn't that.
Yeah, I don't want to hammer on Irish Spartan because I feel like I've seen this comparison a lot.
Yeah.
But like, I don't feel like Sea of Thieves was like. I mean, you go back and watch some of Sean Murray. I mean, I know I was like saying nice things about No Man's Sky, but you go back and watch him on those interviews. You say, "Oh, you can do anything.
Yeah,
you do anything that you want to in this huge procedurally generated universe." And it felt like he had some kind of weird mental problem where people would be like, "Can you do this?" And his answer was always yes,
He's
even
like,
though
of course
you knew that you couldn't do that in the game.
Yeah.
Whereas Sea of Thieves, I feel like, was just dressed up, and there was maybe some implications, but that like it never.
You got to play it because of the implication.
Because of the implication is that it never. I don't feel like at least that it ever lied about what it was. Yeah. But I think that what Irish Spartan, I feel like what people are latching on to, and I've actually been thinking a lot about this since we played Fortnite, is that games are. As much as I hate this, simply having multiplayer is now a huge. Simply having a social game where, I think that the value in Sea of Thieves is not the gameplay loop of Sea of Thieves. If you sat me down and Sea of Thieves was single player and that was what you could do, is you just go into the game, and you could drive a boat, and you could go and you could kill skeletons, pull back a quest, and blah, 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 you're done, right? Like, that would be a boring game.
Yeah.
However, in an era where the Battle Royale stream got 1 million concurrent views, the idea of a game where weird and funny emergent stuff can happen, where like it's almost I feel like almost the way that I've thought about it is that it's almost like Sea of Thieves is very, very much very little a game and more a tool for acting out your scenario online. That it's like it's perfect for Twitch streamers, right? Of like you and your friends are doing that, and you can play the accordion, and you can get drunk and throw up, and you can like look, we saw another player, let's go fucking kick their asses. And then,
so is it like the Minecraft for Twitch streamers?
I think, well, sort of. I mean, I think like Minecraft is the Minecraft for Twitch streamers. Hell, like Fortnite is huge just because of because Fortnite at its base, Fortnite Battle Royale at its base, and PUBG and a lot of these other games, they're not like Overwatch. It's not like you're trying to meet this very specific goal. I mean, you are in some ways, but Overwatch funnels you directly into a second-to-second thing. You know what you're supposed to be doing, right? Yeah. If you were Mercy in Overwatch.
Do they, though? Do they know what they're supposed to be doing, Jeff?
If you are Mercy in Overwatch, you know what your job is. Your job is to heal.
You choose to or not to do that job.
Right. Now, whether or not that happens, yes. Yes. I don't want to go too far down that particular road.
Yeah.
But
you said we could meander.
No, we can meander. But for lack of anything else, like, when you bring up the character in Overwatch and you even look at the description of them, it tells you kind of how you're supposed to be playing.
Right, yeah.
They're divided into attack and defense and tanks and healers, right? But with Sea of Thieves, it's almost like, here, do whatever. Do you want to have a highfalutin pirate adventure where you and your friends basically just like really lean into it, and then you get online and you Twitch stream it, or not, or just by yourself?
Yeah.
That it's almost like, again, it's almost like a tool. Like there's no mechanical benefit in that game to drinking grog and then throwing up. Like to getting wasted in that game. There's nothing mechanically I feel like that does, but it's fun and it's funny, and you can like toast people.
Yeah.
And you can play your accordion, and you get a peg leg. And so I feel that there's that also Fortnite and for a lot of ways PUBG, there's nothing in like Fortnite that you can watch a stream of. Like when I watch a stream of an Overwatch competition, I know what's going to happen. This team is defending, this team is attacking, but you accidentally were trying to hit another ship, and then the Kraken appeared, and then like, oh shit, we need to go. Like somebody posted a video in our Sea of Thieves thing from another streamer that was sitting there in a pirate costume with his friends, giving them pirate names and like, "Arr, you get up and ring the bell," and then like, "Oh shit, it's the Kraken!" And then like they're going over there, and it's like, "Oh well, one of them disengaged from the Kraken. He's shooting at us now." And oh shit, the Kraken's on us! Fucking fire back! I need somebody down there to do the things. Like it's a game that I feel like can be very dramatic watching it, the same way that something like Battle Royale can be. By default is a very basic game type, but you can see wacky shit happen during it and be like, oh shit, like I didn't wow,
Yeah, like lends itself to oh shit moments.
Right.
Yeah.
Now whether or not that of course brings us back to the age old question of there are that game companies, this I feel like is a thing that we're just seeing these days that's a weird split. Game companies want you to play the same game. They want you to buy their game and then play that game and not play other games. They want you to get into their game, play their game, spend money in their game, etc. Like MMOs have been doing this for years. It's not anything new.
Yeah.
But more and more games have started to realize, I think, that you can start to offer that as a thing, as a Destiny is once you hit max level in Destiny, there's still other stuff to do. It's a thing that you can just keep playing compulsively. It's like I play Overwatch when I'm bored and I just want to play 10 minutes of a game. I should be playing Yakuza 6 or Yakuza 0, but I know that Yakuza 0 is going to require me to sit down and play it for hours on end.
Yeah.
And I know that Overwatch I'm going to be able to put in 3 games
and play
then
and jump out.
Leave. Right. Same I feel like is true of Sea of Thieves, of just like I'm going to jump in there, me and my friends, it's after work, me and my friends are all going to get online, we're going to pick a galleon, we're going to go out, we're going to do some quests, and that it's not going to be a thing that you have to pay laser attention to.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a really, really super engaged thing. And I feel like that has a lot of value for people as opposed to Persona 5 that wants you to invest 90 hours in a story campaign.
Yeah.
And go day by day and be really invested and sit there for long periods of time, and that there's something attractive about playing a game that you can play online with your friends the way you want to play it without any real big push from the game to make you do a specific thing, right? I don't know. I can kind of see where it's coming from. Now, personally, it doesn't appeal to me. Like, I have no...
Yeah, but, I mean, that's the nature of video games. Like, some games appeal to people, some games don't.
Sure.
It's not, like, a weird thing. It's not strange. Not every game is meant for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, like, some people play Counter-Strike. That's all they do. Just play Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
It's all or Destiny. Aaron just play Destiny and play Destiny and play Destiny. Hell, I fucking play Dark Souls and play Dark Souls and play Dark Souls. I play Dark Souls and Overwatch and, like, just won't shut the fuck up about it. But, yeah, so that's where I think it's coming from. I do, though, also think that there is a one final prong to this, and that question is, if you are working for a gaming website and somebody hands you Sea of Thieves, and you're not really interested in playing a game like that, and so then you give it a very scathing review, not only do you have to worry about the internet jumping your shit, but you also have to worry about whether Microsoft is going to be interested in sending you any more of their games, or helping you with your coverage of them, because that's still a very real thing where if you're shitty about every EA game that comes out,
they'll just stop sending you.
EA will stop having anything to do with you, because why would they? Why would they actively support your efforts to tell everybody that you think that their games are garbage? Especially with something like Sea of Thieves, if you're a person like me who likes single-player games, and I've said already, I don't really think Sea of Thieves is for me, that why would I be the person, like if I worked for a gaming news site, why would they ever put me on Sea of Thieves? Why wouldn't they hand me Far Cry 5, an ostensibly single-player game where I get to drive Mack trucks and blow stuff up, and, the dog grabs people and they...
Boomer.
Yeah. He also likes to run directly into certain death, and then I feel bad, and then I have to go try to bring my dog back to life, and then I get killed because...
Yeah, John can't play that game when I'm in the room because I'm like, the dog making a noise like somebody's attacking it. You gotta go save the dog. And he's like, it's fine.
I finally just I just took the dog out. I was like, I'll take the plane guy and the sniper lady, and both of them can get killed, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't want to have to deal. I can't wait to get the cat, the domestic puma that does stealth kills,
right, yeah.
Or whatever it is, because at least I won't care if the cat gets killed.
I want a bear.
The Cheeseburger?
Yeah.
You know the bear's name is Cheeseburger?
Yes, I did.
That was pretty awesome. So anyway, I feel like that's really what's going on, and I feel like it's, as long as these games like Destiny are like, you know, I keep having to remind myself, and I keep saying it on this podcast, For Honor is in like season 5, and they're making money.
Yeah.
Like, as long as people keep paying and playing these types of games, then companies aren't going to be like, well, you know, what we really need to do is hunker down and make a game that takes 5 years to develop and is super expensive, and we hope that you buy it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, why would you make that kind of investment when you could shift your focus to something that was more online? Like, I think there's I think it's a sampling error that we get when we think about the things that we like. Like, I like science fiction, and so I'm like, why don't they make sci-fi movies? And it's because they used to, and they stopped making enough money, and so it's easier to make superhero movies than it is to make hard sci-fi, you know, movies that nobody gives a shit about. So
yeah, and every time they do, they get torn to shreds.
Yeah,
like Annihilation did, or Cloverfield Paradox did.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird time for games but on the other hand, there's still companies that are making very much single player games.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it feels like it's not. Maybe what the feeling that I'm trying to describe here is that the gaming industry, this is the same feeling that I've been feeling for years around the time that I turned 35 and I started realizing that all culture didn't give a shit what I thought anymore because I'm old. That they're marketing to the 18 to 30-year-olds, and I'm now past 30, so they don't give a shit about me anymore. And I'm just like, well, I wish that there was more alternative music in single-player games. And they're like, yeah, none of that makes any fucking money, old man. Like, you go over here, and there'll be like you and the other old men can get together and make little single-player games for each other, and we're going to make the big thing, you know, the cell phone version of Fortnite Battle Royale that the kids won't stop playing in class.
Yeah.
So, which is not to say that one is inherently better or worse than the other.
Yeah. So. All it's saying is that you're getting old.
I feel like I talked for 40 minutes there. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Jeff says, no, not really. I mean, I don't think so. I agree with everything that you said.
Okay, so our next one comes in from, but you guys got to sign this shit, man, or it's going to make me come up with silly names.
Wang Dangler.
Wang Dangler writes in and says, "Hey, Jeff and Amanda, just skip to the last bit for a paraphrase question if you want. We got some time. I'm a relatively young whippersnapper and grew up on games with the abrupt transition of the SNES to the Xbox. You think that was like?" My parents had an SNES and from when they were younger, and I played that.
Yeah, and then when I got old enough to ask for a console,
the new console was the Xbox, original Xbox. Okay. Looking back at my younger years and some dev diaries from Bungie on their work from the first three Halo from the first three Halo games, it's amazing that I grew up in a time that moved from dial-up to now. My point in bringing those things up is that I also find it sad how much couch co-op seems to have lost the community building that it had in the past, as well as how much less hype I feel for games these days. Hearing Marty O'Donnell's music play in the background as a number of Bungie devs made commentary, it just really touched me. Game development back then seems like the Wild West as new ideas were being thrown around and old ideas were being polished to a brilliant shine. Maybe it's just me getting older and attaching a lot of nostalgia to the Halo series, but I kind of understand what older generations mean when they feel that they used to live in simpler times. Those in quotes, but yeah. I added the old man voice. Like anyone else, I love the modern comforts that come with the age of broadband internet, but so much of it seems to have isolated people into very personal bubbles with a much narrower variety of folks interacting. Do you ever find yourself missing things like LAN parties or huddling around arcade machines? And that's from Wang Dangler.
Sorry
whatever.
For giving you that name, Wang Dangler. They call me Mr. Dangler.
In the Heat of the Night? Really?
I really wanted to say Mr. Dangler.
Have you ever watched In the Heat of the Night?
Hell no, I have not.
Oh, man, that's a good movie. But, like, whew, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were several questions in there. You'd have to pick one.
Well, I feel like the big thing is kind of that this question is asking about nostalgia. And do you miss the old days, basically? Do you miss the old days of video games when it was more of a people in the same room? It's kind of weird because I don't really... I have a lot of people in the room with me a lot of times when I play video games.
No. I know John did a lot of LAN parties when he was younger. I did not.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't miss that. I played in the arcades a lot. Did not have a bunch of people surrounding me. Like, you know, us doing the, like, put your quarter on the machine and I got next and all that shit. So I don't like that nostalgia comes off like shit you see in movies and not anything I ever experienced. I mean, I even didn't really do a lot of co-op as a kid because I would just watch my brother play and then we'd like take turns playing instead of co-op, unless it was him telling me what to do.
Yeah,
and then me just doing whatever he said.
I didn't like LAN parties. To be honest,
because you hate other people.
No, not necessarily because I hate other people, but because the thing that everybody forgets is that, like, in the era of LAN parties, monitors weighed like 150 pounds.
Yeah,
my 19-inch ViewSonic monitor that I had all as a kid was some heavy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that the towers didn't used to be. They have become somewhat more svelte these days, but they used to just be these big not manila,
like beige and
bricks.
A nice egg wash.
Yeah, and then like they all had optical drives and several hard drives and like a bunch of really heavy shit in them.
They all just felt like burning hot fire when they were all running together.
Mm-hmm. And then you'd have to unhook all your shit that was in the one place, put it all in your car, drive to your friend's house so you could play for 4 hours.
If you're only playing for 4 hours, it wasn't a LAN party. It was just wasted time.
Disconnect everything and go home. Now, I will say that I do have some fond memories. I remember the original Battlefield 1942. Me and two other people, we did take our computers over to my friend's house, and we all played together on servers, and we were just yelling at each other and doing stuff. But the main thing is that I remember when I lived in a house with two of my best friends at the time, and it was a relatively small 3-bedroom house, and we all used to play Counter-Strike. And we all used to keep our doors open, and then we would cheat. It was when person was dead, it'd be like, he's at the other bomb point. He's at the other bomb point. He's got the machine gun. Go over there.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You dick.
So that's how we would cheat. But I do miss that a little bit, but it was never like, I think the question that Wayne Dangler here may be asking that has a larger implication is that I feel, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, but to me it seems like folks are just generally more disconnected in general physically these days. That between social media and all that stuff, that there's much less reason for you to have to
be in the same room as somebody. From
the age of 18 until the age of 32 maybe, I always had a roommate, and my roommate was always one of my best friends. So it'd be like, oh, me and this guy, we're all going to go in and we're going to get a house, and then we're all going to hang out all the time.
Yeah.
And it was only when I got to my mid or early 30s where I got a place of my own. And even when I had my own place, one of my best friends lived in the same apartment complex as me, and so we used to just walk over to each other's houses and hang out all the time.
Yeah.
So I guess and then I was always very much a facilitator of seeing other people. So when my friends and I started to drift apart, I just kept in touch with the ones that I wanted to, and then I would be like, hey man, you want to go do something this weekend? And be like, yeah, sure, whatever, and then do it. So I don't really feel like I've disconnected. I've been like almost involuntarily disconnected from people that I don't. If I want to see people, I see them.
Yeah.
So
it's a natural progression of time.
Yeah.
People just start living life.
And then also, Wang Dangler, remember...
If I could get a little more serious now, Wang Dangler.
Well, always remember...
Wang Dangalingy.
That it's strange how you tend to... What's the thing where you give people a bunch of comment section, right, for a thing.
Yeah.
And you skip over all the good comments and just internalize the one bad comment, even though there's there's a bunch of people who even watched your video who just liked it. There's
one person that's like, meh.
900 views and 5 downvotes, and you're just like, what's with those downvotes, man?
What the fuck's wrong with you guys?
Right. But I feel like there's a similar phenomena where people look back on things with
rose-colored glasses
and don't remember all the bad shit that was happening. I mean, like, the Xbox was around the same time as the GameCube and the PlayStation 2 era, right? Mm-hmm. PlayStation 2, so many bad games. So many shitty $50 games.
And we all just blocked them from memory.
Yeah.
Collectively agreed to not remember them.
I've probably played several hundred video games on my PlayStation 2, and I remember about 24 because they were the best ones. I don't remember all the shitty garbage that came through there. The same is true of the Nintendo, the NES. It's like, kid, goddamn, there were a lot of bad games on the NES.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that we remember the things that stood out as really big, really big, really important games that were interesting to us at the time.
Yeah,
and forget about all the crap. I mean, you think about the stuff that's happening in video games right now. The PlayStation 2 era was, starting with arcade Mortal Kombat, there was the moral panic about video games that went forward into Jack Thompson and the whole PlayStation 2 Grand Theft Auto, Hot Coffee, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of horrible shit that was going down. But I still think that there's places that are doing interesting things with video games. It's just you have to know where to look. We're not charting the roads have been mapped, and so now it's kind of how well you go down them.
Yeah, I think maybe a big thing is that you need to be open to finding where to get those games. Mm-hmm. It's one of those, like, it's oversaturated. You go to, like, Steam and you end up with a bunch of shitty indie games. You go to but every once in a while you'll find, like, a nugget of gold.
Yeah.
And that's true for a lot of things, where if you're looking for certain, like, there's a bunch of, like, online multiplayer bullshit games.
Yep.
But some of them are actually really good, or some of them, like, might just click with you better or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was just wondering, I don't know why, do you think that, what's it called, couch co-op?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's become less popular because millennials have less children? And that couch co-op was really so that siblings can play games together?
No. I think that the style of games that we play don't lend themselves well to couch co-op.
Yeah.
First-person shooters, so when I think of the most successful couch co-op, it's something like Castle Crashers or like
Battle Block Theater.
Battle Block Theater, right? Where both players can play on the same space. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, for me, I hate couch co-op a lot of times because what they do is cut your available area that you're looking at in half and put one person on one side, one person on the other side. And that to me sucks.
GoldenEye.
Yeah, well, yeah, because when I play a first-person shooter, I want that space.
Yeah,
I want to see what's to both sides. That's important to me.
Yeah,
and so cutting that in half necessarily cuts your field of immersion. Also, it's forcing you to look at half of a screen and then not pay any attention to what's going on in the other half of the screen. So when it comes to games,
or you can get those weird Lego games where they cut your screen if you're too far away.
Oh yeah,
the closer you get it
back together.
God, that makes me sick every time. Never play multiplayer with that.
Yeah, and then when it comes to online, a lot of the problems that I've had, at least traditionally in the past with online, is that my friends don't really play online games. I mean, I've got all the Rage Select is out there now to play.
We have to actively buy games for the PlayStation because none of our friends have Xboxes. So
yeah.
It's like, me and John tend to be Xbox. We used to be, and now everyone plays on PlayStation, so now we just play most of our games on PlayStation. It's kind of a bummer.
Worse fates, maybe? I
don't like the controller.
Oh, okay. What about a third-party controller that's like an Xbox controller layout?
No, I don't like third-party controllers.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I cannot help you.
Yeah. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. But I think that couch co-op...
the cross I have to bear, Jeff. I
was just thinking of Army of Two, right? Like that was one of the best couch co-op experience I've ever had. But it still was, when Army of Two came out, I didn't have an HD TV. So remember that as well, Wayne Dangler, that...
I feel so bad that I gave him that name.
On a 4x3 TV, on a square television, your options were cut it vertically, and then you have a huge, rectangle, like tall rectangle that's your viewing area, or cut it horizontally, and then you're looking at this super thin slice that's so wide that you can barely see your character. I have a friend who basically begged me to play Gears of War couch co-op with him, and I played it, and I was just like, I hate this. Like, I can't tell where... first off, he was a big fan of Gears of War. I'd never even played it before, and like Gears of War is a little kludgy when you first start playing it.
Yeah,
like the way that it's the linebacker run like shakes the whole screen. It's hard to tell where anything is.
Yeah, it's a little jarring to
brown on brown
start
with a side of brown.
Yeah.
Like just the way that you pull out the chainsaw in there, where it's like, okay, well, just hold down the right bumper and then hit the X button. Hold down the right bumper, and you'll have to wait for the animation to finish where he starts the chainsaw, and then try to run up to the person, and then hit the X button. You can hold down the A button to run. It's just like, I hate this game. I'm going home. Bye. Like, no, I don't want to do that.
That's how Jeff ends friendships.
It is, and we've never talked again. Okay, our next question here comes in from no name. Amanda?
Oh, shit. I only had one prepared, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you Rodan. No, I'm going to call you Giggle Smurf. Giggle Smurf writes in and says, did you know for one of the firefight scenes in Deadpool 1, Ryan Reynolds spent 8 hours getting makeup put on? What would be your limit for staying still? Really does an actor come back from that level of makeup? Jennifer Lawrence gave up after a few movies. Thanks from Giggle Smurf. What if you were going to be in a movie? What's the amount of time? What's your breaking point sitting still while somebody puts makeup on you and junk?
I can sit for a long period of time too. If you can, anyone who's gotten a tattoo can sit and like deal with pain for long bouts of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, can I play video games while you're doing that? I don't move around a lot while I'm doing that.
Fall asleep, or is it like labor intensive for you to sit there and have somebody put like prosthetics on or make?
I get bored.
Yeah. Well, I think the big problem here is that I have to pee every 2.5 minutes. Because I'm a
There's
girl.
a lot of splicing in this podcast.
It'll be like, actually, I have a really good... You know what? I got to pee. Hang on.
Yeah. Our poor editors have to cut all of those out.
But please don't splice together all the times I say I have to pee on mic. But yeah, I think like besides me having to like pee every couple of minutes because I have a bird bladder, I could probably sit for a real long time. Yeah.
If you entertain me, sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever do the thing though. I think they were going to do it on the Modern Rogue at some point, where you get a cast of your face made.
Yeah.
Where they have to put all that stuff around your head.
If it's someone I trust, yes. If it's like Brian Brushwood, not so much.
No, but it's
like, I don't want to die because Brian Brushwood wanted to make a cast.
I don't think he did it. I think they had a person in to do it. I don't think. But I just don't like the idea of having my senses all closed off and having to breathe through my nose.
I'd be as long as this is not with people that like fuck with you that think it's funny.
Yes.
I think I can do any of that. I'm not particularly panic inducing.
Yeah.
For me,
I don't like having my face is free and I can do other stuff. I'm pretty much infinite. But
do you like put your headphones in and like listen to an audiobook or a podcast or?
I only listen to like 30-minute podcasts.
Really?
I get bored eventually.
I like really, really long podcasts.
And I don't listen to audiobooks. I read books with my eyeballs.
Me too, but if you're going to sit still and you can't move your arms or whatever, an audiobook would make more sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put those wireless earbuds in your ear and you just can listen to whatever.
Who's casting me in a movie anyway? I mean, like, I don't.
Also, who's casting me in a movie and then is like, I'm going to cover her in prosthetics?
Yeah.
I'm gorgeous. Why would you want to cover me?
Yep.
Like, what kind of crazy person? Come on, giggle face, whatever the fuck your name was.
Giggle Smurf.
Giggle Smurf, of course.
Alex writes in and says, hello, Dog Lords and the Beard Man. Sorry for a long one.
Does that make me a Dong Lord?
I think so.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
You have to have a dong to be a Lord of Dong.
Yeah, I know.
Hey-o, a question and maybe a clarification for Jeff and Amanda wondering why Fortnite is so popular. As a fellow Souls lover, one aspect of Dark Souls that hooked me was the adrenaline-inducing boss fights. When you would first beat them, at least for me, my heart would be pounding, my hands shaking, and adrenaline flowing, along with a great way to tell a story, an incredible world, and so on and so on. I was very skeptical with Fortnite when I first played it, but when I played it with some friends, it was super fun. First time I won a solo game, I got that same adrenaline-inducing, heart-pounding, and hand-shaking feeling I've only ever gotten with Dark Souls. I shot out of my seat and was confronted with some sensory overload. I guess for me, I'm chasing that super intense feeling, intense teeth-gritting combat where you have to keep your cool, and it's a nice way to hang out with online friends. Also, building is super duper. With its cartoony look and feel, it's more approachable for people who maybe don't play video games often, and it's free. Epic have also learned so much, have earned so much goodwill by using their own servers, so you don't need Xbox Gold or PlayStation Plus to play online, and it's free. I actually didn't know that part, that you could play without.
Yeah, that definitely makes it more appealing.
Yeah. Question time. Do you think Battle Royale games will stick around? Or in a while, a new game format will come out and be the new hotness? And any other games besides Souls that have given you that nail-biting combat, huge success feeling when you finally overcome a huge obstacle? From Down Under, Alex. Let's see. I think that the main issue that I have with the Battle Royale formula, as far as like giving me a sense of winning, is that I'm so bad
at it,
down on myself. I'm so skeptical of my ability to do good at it.
Yeah,
that there's no way that I feel like I could ever win. So it just becomes kind of
even if I won, I'd feel like it was a fluke.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, you guys really lost, huh?
Yes. Somebody actually made a comment on that video on YouTube that was like, Jeff, you really need to learn how to play this game. I'm not saying that to be like a jerk. I'm like, you need to go watch a video where somebody explains how these systems work because you're not playing it the right way. And I'm not saying that to nag on you. I'm saying you literally do not know how to play this video game, that you need to watch instructions. But so it's funny because I understand what he's talking about, because I do get that a little bit in Overwatch.
Yeah.
I was telling this, I think I already told this story to you, where I was wasted. I was playing Overwatch. I was listening to Anaconda, or no, Katy Perry, because I'm a 14-year-old girl. All right,
because baby, you're a firework.
It was that one with Kanye. It was Extraterrestrial.
Oh, that's right.
I was super wasted, and my girlfriend came in. It was 6:00 in the morning, and I was playing, and I had my headphones on, and she was like, "Hey, how's it going?" Right as we won, and I jumped up out of my chair and unplugged the speaker, and so Katy Perry started playing super loud, and I was like, yeah, because it was like the fourth loot box that I was gotten like one sitting.
Yeah.
And she was like, what? And then it like went play of the game, and it was me, and I was like, and I got play of the fucking game, man.
And she stayed with you?
Yes. And she was like, I don't understand it.
And she just backed away. She moonwalked out of the room like, no.
Look, she doesn't play Overwatch. She bought me a Soldier 76 jacket for for Christmas. So, like, listen, good job. But I remember the last time that I got this feeling. Okay, so in Dark Souls, I feel like that feeling is because I want to progress. Like, when I beat Ornstein and Smo now, I don't care. I beat them 100 times. Like, whatever.
Oh, sorry. Not all of us get to beat them 100 times. I don't know who they are.
They're very legendary bosses from Dark Souls. But I remember the first time that I played Deathmatch Overwatch because it had because in the arcade mode, that'll just give you a chest if you manage to come in first. I didn't really understand what I was getting into, but it was like 8 to 10 player Overwatch. And I was like, I got in and I was just like, oh, this is just straight up like everybody for themselves, free for all deathmatch.
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm never going to win this. And then it put me in the game, and I don't want to leave. I was like, okay, let me just play this and lose. And I just went to Soldier 76, started playing, and I realized I was like, oh shit, I'm first.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh shit, I'm first, and there's 40 minutes left, and there's 40 seconds left, and there's a
There were 40 minutes left. I'd be like, you're barely in this, man.
Yeah. There's 40 seconds left, and there's a Doomfist and a Reaper that are hot on my ass. Like they're one kill.
You have those 40 seconds of just running.
One kill behind me. No, and then it became like the best Overwatch I've ever played because I was trying to play defensively, but I knew that I couldn't just rest on my laurels because these two guys were
real close to
beating me, and so I had to do that. And then that Doomfist saw me and hit me hard enough, and I managed to put down the healing thing and knock him back with the Helix rockets, and he fell off of the map, which put me 2 ahead. And then I think that Reaper killed me, so then he was 1 behind me, and then my ultimate was ready, and I came around a corner where like a Moira and a Lucio and like some
other losers,
a diva out of mech were having a 3-way fight, and I was like, fucking boop.
I'm about to finish this shit off.
Yeah, and I killed all 3 of them, and that was like the end of it, and I was just like, yes! So no, I totally get that. It doesn't happen as much for me these days as it used to because
I think it needs to draw you in. You have to be invested. It can't just be hard for the sake of hard.
Yeah.
And it's harder for old curmudgeons, mostly
it takes more.
like Jeff, for the big like multiplayer games because it's hard to draw you in because they're not giving you story. They're not really giving you anything and just being like, we're going to throw you on a map and kill each other. Don't you feel accomplished when you kill other people? And it's like, not really.
Well, for me, it's actually less. That's one of the reasons that I like Overwatch so much is that it's less because there's an objective.
Yeah.
That like it's less. And even the objectives in stuff like Battlefield where it's capture the point and this kind of esoteric. Like in Overwatch, I know how far the payload is from the thing. I can see that timer going down on when we got the point captured. I can see that number counting up, and that's really important to me. The main issue and the main reason that I got back into games because of Overwatch or into online games because of Overwatch is because Call of Duty is an exercise in frustration because the people that are good at it are so much better than I am. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, is that there's a potential that like if I thought I had a chance of winning, that would be one thing. But the people that play those games are so much better, so much more experienced than I am. I have no chance of winning. I mean, on a fluke, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they said, I was reading another article about Fortnite about how, you could try to just sneak your way all the way to the end of the game and then wait for there to be one.
We tried it, if I recall.
Yeah, but I should have run away from that encounter. And then it's like if you can wait for there to be like one person left fighting one other person, and when they kill that person, you shoot them with a sniper rifle, one shot the entire game.
Yeah, you win
and
like
win.
A chump. Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't feel accomplished with that win.
I mean, I never thought when we played PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, I understood why people would be interested in playing that. That's not really for me. Especially
I get it. It's just different motivations.
Yeah.
Versus, like I feel that's a sort of accomplishment when I beat a boss in Cuphead, or when I play a lot of dumber games, so it's harder for me to be like good examples. But like Cloudberry Kingdom is a game where you just have to run a straight line, and a bunch of shit's happening all at the same time. But nothing feels better than when you see like horrible swinging chains of death and you just go, all right, I guess I'm just gonna go for it, and then you just run.
Yeah,
I think that's great. So for me, I feel those accomplishments when you just like get through something, that moment of holding your breath and being like and then doing it and then being like, oh thank God, I'm the greatest.
Yeah, it depends on the game. Like, it's funny because I don't ever feel like I have that feeling with. I have a different feeling for, like, say, Mario Odyssey or Zelda. I always feel like Nintendo games are gentle enough that I don't feel the pressure. So then I don't have the hold your breath moment. So then I don't have the, oh my God, I just managed to do that by the skin of my teeth.
Right.
Result.
But
right?
that's not what they're going for.
Correct. Yeah.
They're not trying. Because their hold their breath moments is more a look at the beautiful landscape we've made for you, or like look at the scope of what we've like laid out for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think works in its own way.
Yep.
Sometimes you use relaxing games that you just enjoy and you don't want to feel fucking hyped up and stressed the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the main reasons, again, that I've heard a lot of people talk about playing Destiny is it's just like, it's almost like, it's like the French fries of video games where it's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not blasting my socks off. It's not a brand new thing I've never seen before, et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, my disconnect with multiplayer games is I want to feel like I have a chance. In fact, last week when I was trying to get my boxes in Overwatch, I was on a big losing streak, and I just turned it off and just went to go play something else because I wasn't getting. I had gotten close. I had victories snatched away from me so many times, or been in a place where the other team stomped us so hard. And then there's nothing worse when you're playing Overwatch than like the other you wait for 4 minutes to get into a game, the other team just like runs over you.
Yeah.
Like they go to the point and capture it, they bring out the payload, and you cannot stop them no matter what you do.
Yeah.
It's just every part of their team is just like knocking you down, and then they just go all the way to the end, and you manage to trip them up briefly, and then they just push all the way to the end. And then you come to that screen and you're just like, I don't want to play this again. Like, I don't want to do that over and over and over again.
There have definitely been times where I'm just like, I'm not going to play because I'm not having fun. Yeah. And then the next day I go back in and it's like completely opposite.
Of course, again, watching YouTube videos of people playing Overwatch with voice comms on, I don't ever want to have voice comms on. I started it because the video that I was watching was like some guy playing Symmetra, and like a person on their team spent the entire match berating that one player because they chose Symmetra, and like it was one of the most. I don't know, like, where people say that Jeff is irritating, because this is the most irritating human being I've ever heard my entire life. It was just like, I'm fucking ranked, and like you cannot win a match with Symmetra. You need to fucking I guess you just want us to lose. Be like 10 seconds in. I guess we've lost now because you just want to fucking play Symmetra, and you don't want to fucking switch to somebody else, somebody who would be useful for our team. We don't even fucking have a healer, and it's like you be the healer, ass. Like, just like, look at our DPS count. Oh, whatever. And then meanwhile, this Symmetra was doing defense on Osiris, Anubis, the Temple of Anubis.
Yeah.
And was setting up turrets and putting the shields up.
Did they not have mics?
They did. Yeah, they weren't saying anything.
They didn't even hear anything. They were just like,
they were just capturing that footage, and they just put it up on, and then that went into one where somebody was playing as Widowmaker, and their entire team was berating them and saying how we're going to lose because you won't fucking switch off Widowmaker. And then they won, and then that Widowmaker got play of the game, and it was just like,
that's so funny.
And then that led into the kid crying, literally crying about not being able to. So,
oh, that's magic.
Anyway, the question.
Yeah, did we answer it?
No.
What was the question?
Do you think Battle Royale games will stick around, or in a while will a new game format come out and be the new hotness?
I mean, there will always be new hotness, but I don't think this format's going anywhere.
Yeah, same as MOBAs, MMOs, Call of Duty multiplayer, Call of Duty style multiplayer unlocks.
First-person shooter multiplayer.
We go through phases of what's the new thing. MOBAs, like, remember 2 years ago when everybody was like, here's the Transformers MOBA, here's the DC Comics MOBA, here's our new free-to-play MOBA, here's this, here's that. Battle Royale is going to be the new thing for a little while, and then somebody's going to make it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's if I don't know. Do you think that there could be a battle royale mode for Overwatch? Or do you think that they would make it? Because they jumped on Heroes of the Storm for the Dota train. They jumped on Hearthstone for the card game train.
Yeah.
Blizzard, they're smart about it.
They openly said they didn't want to do that sort of thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Battlefield. New Battlefield would be perfect for that because they have large arena combat. Of course, I think there was a story where they specifically said they didn't want to do that. It was just like, why not? Make money. Like, anyway.
Oh, why not? Just make your money.
Just make money, man. And our last one comes in from Brandon. Brandon says, hello, Jeff and magnificent congratulations, host.
What?
That I'll guess be John or Amanda.
I mean, you're right.
I have a question about something that has been bugging me personally. I never used to care about trophies/achievements, but within the last year, I found myself caring, he says extensively. I think he means extensively. Yes, extensively about them. Sorry. Going and trying to beat...
Jeff forgot how to read.
Yep. Going and trying to beat friends in games for trophies or buying a game I own on the PS4 just to get the achievements on the Xbox One. What can I do to break this shitty habit? Thanks for any advice, loyal patron Brandon. Do you have any...
To break the habit of...
Trophies. Trying to get trophies.
Trophy hunting?
Yeah. Or achievement hunting.
Turn off the notification for your achievements so you don't know when you're getting them and then you stop caring.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, because that shit's kind of annoying after a while. You just get that like bling, 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 bling.
I have it turned off on all my systems because I don't want to see it when I'm playing, when I'm recording, especially, right?
It'll like pop up. Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you're playing a new game, you're going to get like 3 achievements.
You created your character. Right, here's a trophy.
You finished the prologue.
Here's another trophy.
First kill. Trophy time.
Here's the cheat. Have a trophy. Yeah. Just turn it off. Turn off the notifications. Don't look at it.
You do what I did with Facebook. Just like try your best to not give a shit about it, and eventually you will start to give less and less of a shit about it.
Yeah.
Until eventually you don't give a shit about it, and you may relapse, but you just have to kind of make an effort to just try to not engage with it.
I know John had a friend that saw that he had like some random high amount of points over him.
Yeah.
So John had, let's say, like 10,000 more points.
Mm-hmm. On his gamer score?
Yeah, on his gamer score.
Yep.
And that friend just went ballistic about it and was like, no, I can't believe you would play that many games, and I'm going to go. And he like actively tried to beat John, and he beat John's number. Mm-hmm. But by the time he beat that number, John had played like 2 more games and like was still higher up than him.
Yep.
And it just drove him insane. Meanwhile, John was just casually playing video games.
No, the exact same thing happened to me. A person that I used to know, somebody that I used to know.
Like that song that nobody remembers.
Was like, Jeff, I challenge you to PlayStation Trophy War. And I was like, I don't want to play. And he was like, that doesn't matter because we're friends on the PlayStation Network. And so I'm going to look at my trophies compared to yours and I will destroy you. And I was like, you knock yourself out, man. You do whatever. Yeah. I'm not your parents.
It's like they're trying to get you into like a hot dog eating contest, and then you say no, and they're like shoving hot dogs down their mouth, and you're like, but I'm not competing.
So like early on, this was in the Spill days, and before Rage Select, I just had my personal PlayStation Network account.
Yeah.
And we were doing the loading bar, I'd buy and beat games every week.
Yeah.
And so he would come to me every so often and be like, I'm hot on your tail in Trophy War. You pulled ahead, but I'm coming for you. Watch out. And I'd just be like, dude, I don't care. Yeah. If I could make it so that I didn't get trophies, I would do that.
Yeah.
I would let you win this stupid horse shit, whatever you care.
Yeah, you're like, I can't stop the trophies from happening to me.
Right. I don't have an option. It doesn't say don't get trophies.
Yeah.
I mean, I could make a new PlayStation Network profile and play on that instead, but like, why? I don't care. And then one day, he surpassed me And he came to me and gloated in my face and was like, "Ha! I have succeeded in beating you at Trophy War." And I was just like,
"So did Trophy War end when he beat you?"
Well, I did point that out to him. I was like, "You've been trying for a year and a half. Congratulations, little buddy." And he was like really upset with me. And I was like, "I don't care. You have created this problem.
Yeah, you set up this war I didn't want to be a part of.
I didn't want it. I don't care about it. I don't care about trophies. I don't care about the fact that there's a ton of games that I have almost a platinum trophy in, and I just don't give a shit about, like, go to the options menu and hit the select button and you'll have a platinum trophy." I do not fucking care. I do not care. I've gotten exactly one platinum trophy, and it was for...
And it was on accident.
No, it was one... What is it when you get the Xbox? When you platinum... Not platinum, it's... You get the... You get everything. You get all the trophies or all the achievements. And it was for Guacamelee. And I actually liked Guacamelee enough that when I looked back and it was like, beat the game on hard, get this certain number of combo hits, beat the last boss without taking any damage. And I was like,
I can do all those.
I like this game so much that I'm going to go into New Game Plus on hard and play all of Guacamelee again from start to finish and really, really dig into the systems. And that was the one where that was the only time also that artificial goal then pushed me to play the game in a different way. Normally I would never
play on hard or worry about not getting hit. Yeah.
Fuck you. Or like, you'd win 4 consecutive matches in Injustice Online. I'm like, oh, no, I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten pretty close. Oh, you know what? That's not true. I did, because I sat down and learned. I looked at it and realized, even though there is not a platinum trophy for it, that I was like 92% on every episode of Hitman.
Yeah.
And then I just, all I did was look for the ones that I didn't finish, look up exactly how to do them online. I just sat down one day and was like, done. Maybe do some of the escalations here. I'll do some escalations. Done.
Yeah.
And now I have my Hitman
100%
is 100% on all 6 episodes of Hitman. Bing, bing, bing. Even the bonus episodes, I believe, Sapienza and the whatever.
Yeah.
But that's because I love Hitman, and there wasn't anything else for me to do, and I was like, oh, an excuse to play Hitman a little bit more. Gee, I just maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
So, and that is our show for this week. I hope that there's been enough Overwatch and Battle Royale talk for everybody.
It was quite a bit.
Mail@rageselect.com is the email address that you can mail your questions into, and then we will read them on the air. And
sign them, otherwise we'll give you a dumb name.
Yep, you should. I got a whole book. Just wait.
Nice.